Welcome back to Jail. Devils don't exist. Arc 1. The Fall of Greyhaze.
Grey clouds loom over the town of Greyhaze, and a perpetual rain soaks its many streets. It is a crowded mess of sandstone yellow and white towers, all square with slate red rooftops and spots of brick here and there, that sits crowded on a rocky, craggy, mountainous shelf that rises out of the rest of the region around it, known as the Etten Wilds, and projects out over the Storm Trail Woods to the south and to the east. A slow slope comes up from that southern ledge and rises up to the sheer cliff faces atop which the town sits. And it could have been a city if, several years ago, the Regent Lord Gallo Igson had not died in those streets. Now its population has dwindled. Most buildings sit abandoned, and few people walk its streets. Its expansion has all but entirely halted. A single road known as the Slumber Walk works its way up the southern side of the town and penetrates through a pair of sort of towering, just like red stone walls that hold the city in. As we've got so far, outside those, probably off in the distance to the west, we see the looming shape of the Spine Mountains, a great craggy range that almost resembles this kind of like ridged, lizard-like draconic back that separates the land of Balgard from its western and eastern sides of the continent. That looms to the west, and to the east we see sloping plains leading down to an inland ocean, a gulf known as the Gulf of Horns. There a small city sits on the coastline, Tir Caragris, an elven city, now no longer owned by the elves who once called it home. But we're not going that far east. We stay here in Greyhaze, where at the top of the towers here in the city, bells ring out, announcing the arrival of two prestigious organizations. Currently outside of the town, just located in the Slumber Walk, a series of tents have been set up on either side of the road leading into the town. Most of the tents on the right side of the road, so to the east, are draped blue wooden poles holding them aloft, and the movements of many mages darting back and forth. To the left-hand side of the road, to the west, we see more ostentatious white, gold filigree, even some the floating potted plants have been brought along, and many, many more priests, paladins, soldiers of the Clarity cluster around and set to work as the town gates begin to slowly pry open. This is the scene that we arrive in as a humongous Adronek, a brilliant purple and pink winged lion arcane construct, beats its wings, soars through, and settles into the far eastern portion of the Rostrum Arcadex's camp. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side of the road, a glittering beam of 3 motes of light arc through the air, and all that this god sees is known to it, and in its knowing can be moved there. And so these 3 motes of gold coalesce to the far western side of that camp before exploding outwards into the shapes of 2 humanoids and 1 angel. Both of you arrive at the same time on opposite ends of this road, on opposite ends of this conflict. And again, the world of Jail is one defined by its duality, the binaries that make it so. So I'd like to ask again as to who would like to start. Are you calling heads, or are you
You've got to call it this time.
calling tails?
I'm calling heads. It's where the eyeballs are.
It's where the eyeballs
Heads
are.
is for the eyeballs.
That is heads.
Ooh.
So we will start with Nephilim. Saint Nephilim. A blinding golden glow that blurs the lands of Balgard beneath you suddenly fades, and twinkling motes of light settle like embers in the air around you as you appear on a smoking patch of blistered earth. Immediately, what could possibly cause some kind of fire hazard if those bits of grass were to ignite from the power of this teleportation spell is immediately extinguished by the torrential downpour that is assaulting Greyhaze and its surrounding environments. You are, within seconds, just soaked through by this falling rain.
Wonderful.
And before you see this scene. You see the high walls of the town of Greyhaze, made of this deep red granite that is just like lifted up there, and it's kind of topped with you see wooden rafters and some parapets here and there, and maybe a watchtower along the wall. At your back, you can see some of a little ways distant from this clearing, the beginnings of the storm trail woods leading to the south and east. And just immediately ahead of you, you see these brilliant white and gold tents. As I would say, they are a far cry from the temple guards that you saw earlier today. You see mostly like peasant standing army types who are wearing probably if they're lucky, splint armor, but for the most part a gambeson or some leather if they've been able to get that. But all of them are clad in these white tabards, most of which are stained brown from the excessive mud and rainwater of this landscape. Though the golden eye of the clarity can still be seen printed on their chests. There's a great hubbub going around as the figures of your organization make landfall, and no one really bats an eyelid as you just teleport down.
Oh God. I mean, ow. Teleportation makes you queasy.
Yeah, immediately Crusader May is on you. She goes, is everything alright, my saint?
Yeah, just never dove through a portal before. Rain. I take my kite shield off my back and hold it above my head.
Yeah, it almost sounds like hail up there. It's just this heavy rainfall just batters off the top of your shield.
I did not think about bringing an umbrella, despite everything I know about this town.
You see May nods and goes, Greyhaze is rather infamous for its rain.
Yeah.
Khmar Kash turns toward you, and you can see equally is absolutely sodden through, blinks its 4 strange eyes at you, and you just hear a breathy from inside a creature that does not discernibly have a mouth as it looks at you.
It does have teeth, though.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to find the other saint, if you would come with me.
It just kind of nods at you.
I pull May close and start looking for the highest ranked official and make them also start doing it.
Wonderful. Yeah, give me a perception check with advantage.
19.
19, wonderful.
Oh wait, it's more than 19.
Oh.
Sorry. +5. 24.
Whoa, okay.
I rolled a 19.
I think you look around, and your camp is definitely the bigger of the two. I think you can see the Rostrum Arcadex's camp on the other side of the road. They've maybe at a push, they would definitely have 2 tents. They have 3.5 tents, as you can see them assembling a 4th. On your side, you have 12 easily. But I think you probably know that this is fairly equal in terms of you're looking around. Most of the guys that are here, you would if you were generous would assign them the guard stat block or the bandit stat block. most of them are commoners who've been given a sword and a tabard. So what you guys make up for in number, it's very clear that the clarity here is being represented by a large quantity of whatever they had available in the region, which turned out to be very devoted, passionate people with no military training. You look around, most of your tents are pretty hastily assembled. A lot of them are, again, of this white fabric that is synonymous with your faith, that in these conditions has been soaked through with mud and rain, and it's not a good colour for this environment at all.
Does not show strength when we can't keep our linens clean.
Quite so. But to the I think close to the road, you see a very ostentatious 4-poster tent with some of these floating marble plant pots with bushes growing out of them, literally are blossoming and thriving in this weather, are just floating out the front of there. And actually, in front of the front flaps to that tent, standing guard, you see a probably actually, how tall is Neff? Just a quick question.
I think she's just above 5'8". She's not tall, not short.
You see I think you would consider short, a 5'4" full-blooded orc stood in front of the entrance to that tent. Wide dude, bald head, ears that are like pointed ears that are at their tips, kind of like encased in like some kind of gold piercing that like plants over the tips. Big gold ear stretches in again with those eyes. Piercings through the nose, and also you can see has what looks to be like 2 sets of tusks. So 4 tusks in total from coming out of a thick lower lip, each one of them pierced with gold rings. This individual is stood there with a huge, bloody-looking, cruel axe over their back, and is dressed in almost in the exact same kind of attire that Crusader May is. And I think on that successful perception check, you recognize that as Crusader Mend. Who, in the same way that May is your protector, this orc called Mend is the protector of Saint Ophanim.
Mend like to mend.
Yeah. He is stood to attention, axe on his back. He has a long white golden cloak that is longer than he is tall, so it is draped in the mud behind him. And he is stood to attention. Again, bald head, thick, strong, orcish jaw, and I think probably an eye patch as well over one eye. Just is stood there, looming in front of this tent and staring out at the rostrum arcadex, trying to give them the evil eye, as it were.
I head over and project my voice over the rain. Crusader!
You see Men looks over in your direction and goes, Saint, may you walk in its gaze.
And you also.
How can I help?
We seek audience with Ophanim. We bring news from the Archbishop.
Archbishop sent you?
Indeed.
And he looks past at the guardian angel and nods, goes, come on in. And just steps aside and holds the tent flap for you.
May remain.
See, May nods and takes a position. I think the guardian angel follows you in.
I'm bringing the angel.
Yeah, the angel follows you in. May and Men stand outside. May just goes, Crusader, and then Men goes, Crusader, and that's all they say to each other before they then start flanking either side of the tent flap.
I love when our masks get along.
You step in, you probably have to duck your head a little bit as you go in, but you're immediately greeted by an environment of intense warmth. There is a fire pit in the middle of the floor that looks like it's been physically dug into the earth, lined with stones, a small blaze burning there, just embers crackling to give it a sense of warmth and dryness. You see a chaiselong has been dragged out here and is planted in the mud and it's slightly sinking into the ground. You see more of these floating plant pots here and there.
How many people could we feed if we stopped making floating fucking plant pots?
Quite fucking so. And there's also what looks to be some kind of organizational table where you see a long wooden table, definitely very cheap, that has a couple of scrolls. You see a map of the town laid out over it, and a couple of bits of correspondence, wax seals broken here and there, and an imposing minotaur stood looming over this table. I think, yeah, you said you... I'm trying to think of, in terms of height, I think we know that Glaive is probably... How tall was Glaive?
Glaive's like, I think 6 foot exactly.
Cool. So we're talking a creature here who is 7'4". Ophanim is big, but probably even short by Minotaur standards. Black fur that is still glistening with rain. He's got a very wide chest. Quintessential ox bowing horns that curl up and have golden caps on either of them that look like gold. The molten gold was poured onto them and then allowed to set in a way to give an effective curling tendrils across the horns. Has a single gold nose ring in, and beyond that has no further adornments of jewellery. Fairly sparse.
Kali tried their best with what little they were given.
But this figure, as opposed to perhaps wearing the traditional vestments, Ophanim has almost a kind of toga-esque kind of robe thrown over. So there's a bit of white silk over one shoulder that flows down over this bare, ripplingly muscular chest, and is then bounded up into a white skirt that then falls just short of an impressive pair of hooves. And I think the main thing that you see is threaded throughout this creature's hunched shoulders, its immense black mane and the fur. You see plant growth. You see vines and roots with flowering, budding flowers over this figure growing here and there. Mostly centered around these shoulders as a kind of shoulder piece, this plant growth here. And you would know that this is traditional of the Saint of Renewal, as Ophanim lets out a deep breath and turns around to face you and goes, "As I live and breathe, Nephilim, is that you?"
Brother, it sees to the heart of you.
"Sister, you are welcome here." And he steps forward and goes in for a hug immediately.
Oh, there we go.
Just hugs and lifts you off the ground.
Oh, wow.
And you're feeling... actually, yeah, give me a strength saving throw.
Oh, yeah. Not amazing. 11.
Cool, you take 1 point of bludgeoning damage as he...
That's a 10th of my life.
You feel something snap in your back as he just holds you tightly.
You have a broken rib now.
Oh, scumbucket. Okay.
Sorry, and he sets you back down the floor and goes, "You know me, I'm a bit of a hugger."
Yeah, brother. I know.
"How fared your journey here from Amygdalin? I received word and he holds up a letter, just shortly ago that you would be attending us."
We travelled by the Tower of Lashes, so pretty instantaneous.
There were no complications then?
Not as we can tell so far.
Good to hear. I have no idea how the latent magic of this land could interfere with such things. I'm glad to see your journey was safe.
Yeah, if not a bit damp.
Everything is a bit damp here, though the plants seem to enjoy it. And literally as he says that, the flowers on his shoulders bloom a little bit.
Well, I'm glad you're here then.
Quite so. I hope to renew the broken bonds of trust between the Clarity and the Rostrum.
I approve. And I'm here to assist. May I introduce you to Mar Khat?
Looks over at the Guardian Angel and blinks as he goes, "Oh, I was not aware that we are in the presence of one born in the likeness of our God." He stands up and goes, "In its gaze," and just bows towards this figure, and you just hear another as it just bows back towards him.
It was bestowed upon us by Archbishop Wern and the Optistitcher.
The more the merrier here, I say. We could do with the show of strength to make sure that the rostrum knows what we're about, as it were.
Indeed. Are we away from unwanted eyes?
He looks around for a moment and goes, "Your meaning?"
ones who aren't above our station, or below rather, could hear this conversation.
I can assure you, Nephilim, this tent is quite secure.
I've been sent to assist you on the surface, though the Archbishop lends faith to you to complete it without my presence.
Without your presence?
I've been sent on a second mission.
A secondary mission.
What
What could be more important than ending the Strife of Spires?
I agree, but I am not one to defy divine word.
No, I suppose the Archbishop is wise beyond reasoning, yes.
Insightful. I'm to retrieve an artifact from a ruin or hidden building somewhere within this city.
I see.
I would appreciate any surveillance we had on the comings and goings of the Moronites.
Well, I understand that there are a small sect of Moronites within the town in a region called the Knuckles, but we have yet to venture inside Greyhaze. I understand that we are waiting on the approval of the of Mayor Kane before we can enter.
Okay. Well, I will assist you in any way I can until the time comes for me to complete my mission.
By all means.
I don't... What's the plan for ending the war?
The way I see it, both sides have lost a great deal. And we are all of us tired, I think. I rather think that we would all like to go home and plant the seeds for a brighter future together. I do not think there is much point in arguing over lands and borders at this point. Everyone is nice and happy where they are, so as long as the rostrum don't make any ludicrous demands, I rather imagine that we should be able to proceed without much in the way of conflict.
I hope so. What do I know about Ophanim? Where does Ophanim's allegiances lie?
Give me a religion or a history check.
I'm Team Ophanim, honestly. He seems
I
really
know,
chill.
he does seem chill, so I'm afraid to find out that he's like,
seems...
I work for the worst
This
Archbishop.
guy seems so nice.
12.
Cool. Was that a religion or a history check?
Dealer's choice. History. I haven't read history yet. They're the same.
Yeah, so, okay, from a historical... I think you probably know that Ophanim is one of the oldest saints.
Okay.
He was definitely around during the Strife of Spires. And also, let me see, where else would he have been around in? Yeah, he was brought up, I think, at a time of genuine peace for the Clarity. So I think he's been around since the Harthanderic crisis. Oh. He is remarkably old, but the saints don't really experience the passage of time in the same way that most other mortals do. So he came into being as a saint in a time where renewal was important, where the wizards were doing their stuff and murdering each other, where the Clarity was recovering from the last schism, and what they needed was a healer. And so that's what he has been this entire time. The vast majority of his work in the field, I think you have probably spent some time with him, because there's some saints who are definitely there to kill and conquer and spread the light of the Clarity. He's definitely the kind of guy who comes in afterwards, and you describe him as a more proficient healer than yourself.
Yes.
Very, very potent healer, fundamentally prioritizes peace and coming together, because he comes from a time of peace. He sees stuff like Gallows War and the Strife of Spires as being like tangential to the as being separate from the way that things are supposed to be. Like, there are people who are born during Gallows War and know war, and this is normal to them. That's not the same case for this guy. He's a dude with you know that based off his history, he'll have a hopeful outlook, but you also know that since day one, he has worked for the Archbishop of the Pupil. He is very much aligned with Wern, and that's probably why he's already here. I think because of that, despite the fact that Ophanim is such a chill guy, because his boss hates your guts, it's one of those things where it's like, man, I love Ophanim. Shame he works for the worst dude ever. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's probably why your relationship is neutral, where it's like, it's hard to see through him turning around and being like, yeah, I'm so chill, oh, I'll give you a big hug. When it's like, the guy before you was like, I will stab you and hang you from a tree if you fail. It's like, okay. And you've got no doubt that the person who would tell... it's the kind of awkward thing where it's like, yeah, this guy would heal and help and all this stuff. This is also the guy who would go to Wern and let Wern know exactly how well you've performed, whether that actually be well or not. He's a big Clarity loyalist.
Okay. Well, at least he can help me with Wern's quest then. Do you know anything about Grovel Thrash?
I think you see he kind of like frowns at everything and goes,
Grovel Thrash, let me...
It's a weapon, a warhammer.
sounds like it might be before
The
my
Archbishop
time.
told me.
Let me see. I need to remember what stat block I am. I am...
A big, strong one with lots of history.
oh yeah, the history barbarian?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Barbarians are famed for their high intelligence. We all know this.
And so am I, a cleric of knowing. I remember things. I don't have a -1 to intelligence.
Cool. Yeah, he's going to do a history check. He's not the smartest cookie in the shed.
I will put my arm on him and
Like
cast
cookies,
guidance.
Cookies famously in sheds.
Cookie's famously in sheds. That is
Cookie.
rather the joke.
What?
That's 11 plus 3 for a 14. I think he turns to you and goes,
It is a Moronite weapon, yes.
Indeed.
Well, if I know my history textbooks, most of the Moronite's arms were forged during the years of Bloody Reeds, when their kin were on the run from the Clarity, as it were, for their many crimes against Vanguard. I would rather suspect that this item would have been forged around that time, very old, and Greyhaze is an old town, so I do not see why it could not be here. But if you are asking for details about the weapon itself, I must apologize, for I have scant little to offer you, my friend.
That's okay. You've been as much help as the Archbishop has,
Yeah.
which is enough. Alright, you need anything doing?
For the time being, we are waiting upon the announcement of the mayor before we enter the town, at which point I will need you by my side to assert the face of the Clarity to the Arcadics and to the people of Greyhaze as well.
We will show them the severity of how we are taking these peace talks by sending 2/5 of the saints.
Quite so. Glad to have you by my side, sister.
And you as well, brother.
Tell me, was Saint Cherubim not supposed to be
I've been informed that Cherubim has been taken away on a mission by the Archbishop of the Iris.
pity? We get along like a house on fire.
Insight check. I mean, I don't need it. That's the most cocked it landed on all the dice. 17.
cool.
You didn't mean that. What did you mean?
You're in love.
That's a 7. What was your insight check, sorry?
17.
17. Beat it by 10. There's a really great moment that happens here where Ophanim goes into that bit where he goes,
We get along like a house on fire.
and folds his arms and stands up straight, and you can hear the rain pattering on the canvas overhead. He clears his throat a little bit, and you just stand there in silence, and you're like, why is he being so awkward about this? And you look at his stance, and he's not making eye contact with you, and I think he looks back to his table and goes,
I have some correspondence to check over.
and he goes back over, and you're like, okay, fair enough. He's like, hang on. Oh! And I think it clicks in your head. he does genuinely get on with Saint Cherubim quite well. You see in the expectation that Cherubim would have been attending instead of you.
Oh, he's disappointed that I'm here.
Yes, like he's being I think the thing is, Ophanim is a big friendly guy, but I think that is a show of him like, I kind of would have preferred to have Cherubim
Somebody
here.
with more experience who I gel with on a very good level.
You know that Cherubim is is a little blue kobold saint. You know that Cherubim was effectively one of the first saints after like the first few saints who are founded. So there are some saints in your like ancient textbooks that you'd have to go back and have a real think about.
Yeah.
But you know that Cherubim originated, found his saintdom. Was it he, him pronouns for Cherubim? I was assuming so, given that it's cherub.
Sure.
I don't know why.
I don't think I wrote it down.
That's okay.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw pronouns.
You know, yeehaw pronouns, my goodness. Cherubim found, was one of the last saints to be created during the years of Bloody Reeds.
Oh.
So Cherubim is old, and is the saint of quests and adventuring.
Well, that's why he's not here.
Do you say that out loud often?
Yeah. Saint of Quest, always question.
Always questioning that one. Real exciting guy.
And yeah, you see in there like a real. Like,
I look into the giant eyeball.
Yeah, I think you see in him like I think you get along with Cherubim. Ophanim gets along with Cherubim. It's the kind of thing where Cherubim is the oldest and coolest out of all the saints. So everyone just gets along with Cherubim, and like you even remember the Archbishop was like, "Man, I wish I could send Cherubim to deal with
He
this."
was like, I hate this kid. Let me send this old dude who
Yeah,
can
this
get it done.
old, gnarly, tough as nails kobold to get it done. And it's like, we'll send the Saint of Wardens then. I suppose that's the next best thing.
You know, I just represent everyone who's been protecting everybody this whole time.
But it's the kind of thing where
You're not a kobold though.
I know.
I think that's maybe the
I'm
thing.
not that cool.
Is the thing you're clocking here is that maybe members of your of the clarity value the adventurous legacy of their faith over the practicality of guarding it.
Yeah.
And so I think you see that in Ophanim there, a guy who would much rather have a deeply competent but wild adventurer here, rather than someone who's probably equally competent, just maybe not as experienced.
I feel like
Not as fun
I'm
to
the
be
most
Yeah.
diplomatic of all the same.
Yeah. Other than Ophanim, you're probably up there in terms of diplomacy.
He was
for
probably
sure.
like, oh, I really want to get drunk with Cherubim again.
Yeah.
He's great at a party.
I want to hear about how Cherubim blew up a house to save a baby.
It's very much those kind of vibes.
Well, I'm gonna go patrol with May. Y'all don't have umbrellas, do you? Or did you sort of just give in?
The umbrellas do not last long in Greyhaze. The wind blows them inside
We
out.
should have brought black tents. We look ridiculous.
Black tents?
They are all muddy.
But black is the color of the wizard Lagaria, is it not?
Oh well.
I
I suppose in a diplomatic sense we shouldn't have. But
I mean, we could have done to
I
show
mean,
our
practically. Maybe we should have.
I'm not so sure about practically.
Okay. I'm gonna head out.
Farewell, sister. Enjoy
Farewell, brother.
Enjoy your watch. It is good to be guarded by the Saint of Wardens. Thank you.
As it is good to be supported by the Saint of Renewal.
And he nods and turns back to his paperwork.
It is, guys.
It is, guys.
As you step back out. I think at that point, as you step out, we see the beating of purple wings overhead. And as
Holy
you look up,
shit.
you watch as an Adrenac, this almost
I
manticore-esque...
grab May.
May goes to reach a sword and you just see Mend shake his head. This almost manticore-esque arcane construct swoops down and skids to a stop by the 3 or so Rostrum Arcade X tents being set up. Glaive, you are aboard this vehicle here.
behind you, you can just see the wild curly blonde hair of the mage Spindle, all blown backwards into like just like standing straight on end, just like blink, and he just goes, "Wow, it sure can go fast, huh?"
Glaive doesn't say anything and just starts dismounting.
Flawless, yeah. You start dismounting. Astrid is dismounting as well. I think Spindle just sits there in the saddle for a moment before like Astrid tugs on like on his little like tail coat at the end of like his uniform, and he goes, "Oh, all right," and starts slowly getting off.
Yeah.
Your skin is definitely hydrophobic, isn't it?
Oh, that's so
cool.
Water
just rolls off.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, just beads up and just drips off immediately. Yeah, immediately you are soaked through. I think the bit of you that's absorbing the most water is your armor that you can see like ping, 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 ping. It's just like pattering off the front of your breastplate. It is absolutely tipping it down, and as soon as Spindle is in the time that it takes Spindle to dismount, his hair's gone from like stark back behind his head to now wet dog like draped down. You can see the shape of the dude's skull and his horns, which is deeply funny because like he's so poofy and hairy head, then there's like slit back.
It's mostly hair, like his head's probably quite small.
Yeah, he's got a small head and big horns, and the hair compensates for that. And now he looks
called out.
Now he looks a little bit like he looks like it's a wonder that his head doesn't tip forward with his horns all the time as he dismounts. And the Adrenac turns to you and shakes itself off, and just like glistening beads of rain just go arcing off in every direction. Yeah, is there anything that you're looking to do as you arrive in the Arcadex's camp?
I think Glaive once again presses her forehead to this, like the muzzle of this beast, just to like, and just like, "Thank you for aiding us and giving us safe journey here."
It nods, silent as ever, and steps slowly back, surveying the environment quickly to make sure that there's no dangers around. It then nods to you and begins lifting up into the air, and then slowly careens off, dipping around south before flying east, just to kind of follow the slope of the land as it sails over the Storm Trail Woods down towards the Gulf of Horns.
I think Glaive watches it go in a way that isn't like outwardly sad to see it go, because it's like Glaive enjoys the presence of this creature so much, but in a way that she would never verbalize or give away, because it's not, the wizard has issued that it won't be here, so she will never express any sort of disagreement to that, but is very much like, well, that's my guy that I've been hanging out with. It's like I've known this guy for ages, and he's going, and I don't know when I'm gonna see him again, and that's sad, but that's duty. So yeah, watches it go, watches it crest over the tops of the mountains before, I think, turning back to her two companions, and I think turns to both of them and is like, "Do either of you know where we might find the two Archmages?"
You see Spindle kind of blinks, goes, "Well, I'd reckon if we head somewhere over," and by the time he started pointing, you hear a shout from over by the tents. He goes, "Hills of a way to make an entrance, lass!" And a woman comes walking out. You see a burly man comes walking out of one of the tents. This figure is dressed in ostentatious, like, wizardly red robes. You see a mantle that strikes out to either side, long red robes that are bundled up around the elbows, black linen wraps around either wrist, exposing thick, brawny, you would expect them to be hair covered, but they are soot covered fingers. You see, like, again, more of these like black linen bindings around the ankles, where you see like two like heavy boots. You see like a shirt of chainmail underneath this like robe as it like trails behind. And you see just like a crazy assembly of stuff where you see this dude has like a knife in his belt and like a surely like a couple of like arcane rods of different kinds, and is walking with a staff. thick white head of hair that is black at the roots from soot that blazes backwards into kind of like almost like a smoke cloud shape behind his head, and then a similarly thick white beard braided into 2 strands over the front of his chest. Again, black at the roots, down to white at the end. Iron bands in the actual beard, and a grey face, and you see grey hands. You see a Dwergar man comes walking up to you, just ploughing through. The most wizardly looking man that you could imagine. Like, your wizard doesn't look like this kind of a wizard. And you see this Dwergar walk up to you and goes, "That big thing not hanging around, is it?"
No, he has it has more important places to be.
More important than ending the Strife of Spires.
I have been sent here. He was simply escorting me.
Tomorrow, are ya?
Archmage Firebeard, I presume.
That's the one.
Indeed. Pleasure to meet you. My name is Glaive, Tamori of the Wizard Edthrad.
Tamori of the Wizard Edthrad. And I suppose he didn't deign to bring himself here, did he? Or didn't bother to send any of his Archmages, I don't doubt.
Unfortunately, he could not be present.
Unfortunately for us, I suppose. I imagine he's cackling away in his little tower, the prick. Right, okay, so what he sent you, so what kind of Tamori are you then exactly? Fireball, power word kill, what?
I am his closest Tamori.
So you're a, what? Shield spell, teleportation, revivify?
It's quite a personal question.
Aye. Speak then, construct.
I think Glaive in this moment is very much like, okay, I think Glaive is conscious enough to know how she's going to be received, but also, yeah, she's in this very awkward position right now. She's like, I know telling him the truth is maybe not the most ideal option, but also I know that I cannot lie. I have never lied in my life. So
Full charisma.
Yeah, full charisma. So I think she just like rolls her shoulders back and I'm a booming blade, Tamori.
Cat leans forward. Sorry, come again? It's raining awfully heavy out here.
Booming blade.
But that's...
I believe it's an evocation spell, so perhaps that'll get us off on a good foot.
Aye, not a fucking good evocation spell, mind. You're not something more powerful than that.
I'm not.
Fuck's sake. So this is a joke then? Alright, well, come along then if you're here to represent Edthrad and the Conjuration School. And he turns around and starts making towards... what you can see is there are like a series of red tents and a series of pink tents as well. And he starts making towards one of the pink tents. Come on! You haven't got all day unless you want to stay out there and get soaked through.
Glaive will follow, but I think... Yeah, I think she probably like catches up with this Archmage and like says to him like, these are not your tents.
The red ones are, eh?
We are going towards the pink one.
Mm-hmm.
I assume the Archmage of Enchantment.
Oh, well, at least you got a fucking head on your shoulders and you can tell what's going on. I, the Archmage of... Just be quiet and just speak when you're spoken to, alright, Tamori. Good God.
I do have a name.
I'm sure you do, love. And he brushes through yeah. You've had all the really nice, friendly NPCs up until this point. Your turn to have nasty ones. He brushes through the open tent flap and like waves for you to come through.
I think before we go in, I think Glaive is going to turn to Spindle and be like, do you think they would be more receptive to you?
We could try.
For this is not the reception I had expected.
No, I don't think they'll understand the whole adaptive to Maury sort of thing.
No.
I think this is the kind of guy who just wants to see a big boom, as it were.
Yes, I quite agree. Perhaps you and I could talk together to them.
Yeah, I know. I'll talk up on your behalf, and I can be in charge. I can be in charge, sure.
You have experience in this.
Dealing with the other mages. Yeah, I've with you abjuration and evocation before, sure. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You will take the lead then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. And you both stand in the entrance of the tent. Do you take a step inwards?
I think Glaive waits for him to do it.
Cool, give me a persuasion check.
We're gonna be here a while.
That's a 4.
Cool. You look at Spindle. Spindle looks at you blinking, and you just see like the Archmage Frillwood Firebeard just stood there in the tent. It's like, would one of you fucking move inside the tent? My arm's getting stiff.
I think Glaive will take the top of the tent as well, like from him. Like,
real fucking helpful.
And we'll wait for Spindle to go in.
Frillwood moves in first, and the first thing you hear as he goes into this darkened interior of this tent is just, "Here, Adoration, we've got a coat hanger to help us out from school conjuration. Isn't that great?" Fucking doorstop Tamori walks in.
So mean.
He walks in, and you see Spindle. He goes, "Oh, I was supposed to," and he then moves in. Focus, you can see, immediately like goes to help some of the other guys setting up a tent elsewhere, sets down what bag she can in the dry spot she can find, and Astrid starts like helping the other way. You actually see there are some other focuses here, and you can see that like embroidered into like each of their like otherwise like very like tight fitting like movement oriented cloth robes. You see like bands of like blue or black or red. It doesn't appear to be as strictly color coded as the rest of the magi here, and might just implicate like where in the realms of the Rostrum Arcadics they come from. But you see she goes and busies herself.
Yeah, I think Glaive's eyes linger on her for like just one more second before she turns around and heads inside the tent.
The demurity of it all. Wonderful. You step inside a dark interior of the tent. Scant daylight makes its way to the thick pink canvas of the interior of this tent. You notice there's no like mud spots or anything anywhere, and can only imagine that there is a single mage here whose job it is to go around and cast prestidigitation on anything that begins to get dirty. The tent flap comes shut behind you, and you see in a metallic brazier, as might hold hot coals, a series of purple crystals just lodged in there, emitting a dull, throbbing purple glow, and illuminating what appears to be, I think, actually, there aren't like wooden stakes holding this tent aloft. Instead, you see it just floating there as if suspended on unseen stakes. You see a various like beads and arcane dream catchers dangling from this canvas roof that has nothing like holding it up. So there's a bit of a inversion of gravity that's going on there. There is then an immense long table in the middle of the room, covered in, I think there's one seat on one side right by the entrance. You can see that the Archmage Firebeard brings back his chair and just dumps himself into. There's about 4 simpler chairs around that end of the table, and then on the other side, another 4 simple chairs, and at the head of that table, you see a absolutely gorgeous elven woman sat there. You see a black woman with a bald shaven head, long elven ears, tattoos across her skull that looks like pink swirling mist that as you watch appears to slowly move across her scalp like the movements of slightly frozen fog drifting over her skull. Brilliant, dark, rich cherry lips, and then almost like more of this like kind of dark, rich cherry underlying makeup underneath either eye. She is wearing. God, what would she be wearing? because you wouldn't go for something as crazy as most of the other mages. I think she's wearing a very it's pushing the boundary on black, where you can see shades of dark red and pink buried in there, but a very casual, very practical black robe that she is wearing. With as she moves through the light, you see it catches, and it's probably maybe like some kind of leather robe that you can see there's a glisten to it as she moves forward, and she goes, now Frillwood, we should allow our guests to introduce themselves formally. And she turns to you, and you see beautiful eyes that the interior, the irises glow pink with enchantment magic. As she locks eyes with you, smiles, and just goes, and who may I greet here into the in this brief sanctum of the domain of enchantment?
And I think Glaive bows very, not the full extent of dropping to the knee like she would for her father, but just a very like courteous soldier sort of like dipping of the head as she stands back to attention. Who's like, my name is Glaive. I am the personal Tamori of the wizard Edthrad of Conjuration. I am accompanied by the mage Spindle. We are here to represent our Wizard of Conjuration.
I see. There is no Archmage in your accompaniment? And before you can speak, Frillwood chimes and goes, no, you think I haven't bloody well asked? And she smiles very politely at Frillwood before turning to you to wait for your answer.
I think Glaive is going to look at Frillwood very briefly. It's like, I believe you did not ask that question directly, before turning them back to the Archmage of Enchantment and be like, there is no Archmage in our retinue.
I see. So it would appear that the Wizard of Conjuration has sent his right hand in the place of an Archmage, is that correct?
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, you are most welcome here in this tent. And you see, again, Frillwood chimes in and goes, right hand, aye, it holds a booming blade and all. And you just see that she kind of frowns over at him again before brushing it off and just goes, how familiar are you with the current political situation here in Greyhaze?
I have been fully briefed on the situation. I'm
Marvellous.
here to assist however I can.
Marvellous. I understand that things currently are tense between the different schools of the Rostrum Arcadex, but I trust that if we work together, the schools of evocation, enchantment, and conjuration can bring a swift and resounding conclusion to these difficult times.
Of course. When do we begin?
At present, I understand we are waiting on the permissions of Simon Kane, the town's mayor, before we make a move into the town. I'm assuming that most of our forces will be relegated to the town's exterior environments here in the Slumber Walk, whereas I am hoping that we will be able to find some more comfortable arrangements in the town itself.
Yes.
And you see Frillwood rolls out his eyes and goes, I wouldn't fucking get your hopes up. The town's a fucking war zone. And you see, again, she waits and he goes, it was a war zone, Frillwood. It is now the place where we will perform our peace talks. And I understand that there were quite a few pleasant inns in Greyhaze back in the day. And you see he just shakes his head and goes, before the war.
This tent is wonderful. The enchantments that you have placed upon this current abode are quite impressive in terms of comfort, keeping out the rain.
Wonderful. You say this to her in this moment. Goodness gracious me. I think that's going to have to be some kind of charisma skill. Let me double check what my girliest stat block is.
I'm not good at it, but I can say nice things.
You can say nice things. It's whether they have the intention that you want them to. Okay, wonderful. Can you give me I think it would probably be a persuasion or a performance check to make a good impression. The DC isn't particularly high.
Okay.
You are literally looking for a 10.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll a 13 or above.
Yeah.
Let's see how we get on with this.
Jesus, a -3 is harrowing.
It's rough out here, guys.
It's rough
Don't
out
worry,
here.
we'll be together. I can guide you.
That was cocked, luckily, because it was between a 7 and a 1. That was... Hey, man. That's a 9.
Yeah, you made this comment about the strength of the enchantments, and she smiles very politely at you and goes, "That is very sweet, thank you for saying." Give me an insight check.
Which I am neutral on. I have a +0. That's a nat 20. Where was
Nat
that?
20.
Where was that?
There is a crease around her mouth, a wrinkle at the corner of her eyes. The works of enchantment here in this tent, I think you can tell on that nat 20 insight check, you reevaluate the space and you're like, she's smiling at me in a way that is condescending. Absolutely. And it's like, what have I done to earn condensate? Like, what have I done to earn this in this moment? And you look back at the enchantments, and they are very simple enchantments. I think it's the kind of thing where it's like turning around to someone like writing like a thesis and being like, "Wow, your essay is so good," and it's like, "Thanks, dog. That's the bibliography." Anyway, like it truly is. You've come around, and it's like this is an archmage of enchantment. This is someone who is deeply, potently talented at the art of enchanting both people and objects to do what she wants them to do.
Is she talented, or does she just have magic items that make her that way?
Well, this is also the truth, isn't it?
I've got real magic.
You've got real magic.
She can't cast Blooming Blade.
Yeah.
That is true. She can't cast Blooming Blade. But point being, I think you can see in that face like a look of, oh. Like, I think that's the expression on her face is just OH full stop of like, oh, you're very sweet. And I think you can see an eye darts to Frillwood, and Frillwood just nods knowingly. And it's like, in making myself in this moment look a little bit incompetent by complimenting something as trivial to these archmages as the way the candles are suspended in this space and the way that the tent is holding itself aloft, you've kind of outed yourself as not really knowing a lot about magic, and at least by their metrics. And in that regard, have identified your uselessness to them pretty keenly. So
that's fine.
I've
got my own job.
You've not offended anyone. You're just not really impressed these two people here, unfortunately.
I think, yeah, Glaive thinks about that and then comes to the conclusion that she doesn't really care too much because my dad's planning on killing all you guys soon.
True.
I'm speaking to corpses.
My dad doesn't care if you guys live or die, so neither do I.
Neither do I.
And I think Glaive just nods. And is there anything I can do to assist at present?
At present, perhaps you could keep an eye on the entrance to the tent, to make sure that, no agents of the Clarity, attempt to push their luck.
Of course.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I apologize. I don't believe I did catch your name.
That's okay. I did introduce myself. It is Glaive.
Glaive. Of course. I apologize, Glaive. Yes. Just standing by would be good for now. I trust we will be moving soon.
Of course. Pleasure to have met you all.
To have met you. And you see Frill just goes, fucking pleasure, doorstop.
No, I don't want to do anything right now.
Maybe you should.
The only cantrip I have is Booming Blade, otherwise I would do something to shit on him a little bit. Maybe I will later. Maybe
You could throw something at him.
I'll step on his beard later.
Yeah,
And
that's
make him trip
It's
up.
long enough. It's certainly long enough.
Yeah, I think that Glaive is going to hold. I think Glaive is gonna. If there is a way to like pin the door to this tent open.
Yeah, there would be.
Yeah, Glaive is gonna do that and go stand out in the rain, but on the other side, but leave the door open.
Distinctly annoying. God, I wish there was a check in D&D for like annoying charisma roll to piss someone off.
Here you go, here's a D3.
What's that gonna do?
I don't know, scale of annoyance.
I think this is going to be a charisma saving throw from both our wonderful Archmages here in this moment.
Against what?
Wonderful is really kind. Really kind adjective.
Yeah. Let me see. Unfortunately, I do think it would be the AC I would want to set it at is your like baseline charisma,
Please.
which would be your neutral force of presence, which would be a 10 minus 3.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So it's 7. So they need to survive.
Can it be my spell save DC?
Unfortunately, there isn't something magical about this. You are pinning a tent open so that a bit of rain gets inside. Okay, let's see.
I'm gonna kill these guys.
Yeah, that is the plan.
Okay, they have both done remarkably
Oh my God.
poorly. That is, a 2 and a 4.
Oh my
they
God.
don't have pluses to their
Let's
charisma
go.
saves.
It's a win.
Yeah,
I pissed
right.
them off.
Yeah, you stand in the outside. The conversation that's going on in the tent behind you is a constant source of Frillwood building towards an argument and Adoration talking him down from it, almost like someone trying to literally quell a raging inferno. That goes on for like 5 or so minutes before you hear heavy footfalls. And then you're as because this tent's just on the ground. You let this water seep in, and you watch as the heel of Frillwood's boot skirts in the mud in front of him as he goes to leave, and is on his back. Goes and he just lies there on the on the floor, prone for a second.
Can I go and offer him a hand up?
He looks at you and goes, "Get that out of my fucking face!" and smacks your hand out the way, and just turns to you and goes, "Get that fucking tent closed, you daft cunt!" and walks off.
Perhaps you should ask one of the mages to do what they were doing on the tent walls to your robes.
That's one of the fucking mages. I'll fucking ask you to one of the mages.
And storms off to one of the red tents over on the other side. And just, he tries to slam a tent flap, so just slaps lazily against the entrance to his tent.
I think Glaive's gonna turn to Spindle and she's like, "It's quite an aggressive man."
I don't think that went very well.
No? Why not?
Well,
We made our introductions and we are doing as they asked of us.
Adoration appears in the front of the tent, looks down on the muddy porch that you have created for her with the rain.
Mind your step. It's a bit muddy out here.
Tamori, if you would be so kind, can you please close the tent flap? And perhaps you would be better suited patrolling the campgrounds.
As you wish.
Thank you.
Glaive is going to very, very politely, very nicely do it and let themselves get walked over a little bit in this moment. Is she?
You brush it shut, and you hear on the other side a footfall that sounds like a little bit of a slip on the inside without fully falling over.
Yeah, Glaive.
The difference between a 2 and a 4.
I think there is the absolute flicker of a smirk on Glaive's face as she hears that.
You don't hear someone fall, but you hear someone go, that kind of whoa, okay.
Yeah, Glaive is before I think turns to Spindle and is shall we acquaint ourselves with our surroundings?
Sure.
And Glaive's already started walking down the path, I think.
Wonderful. We'll cut back across to Nephilim in this moment as you've seen this creature land and then immediately take off.
They have griffins.
You see May shrugs.
Was that thing made of metal?
I've seen them on the battlefield on the few rare occasions that my requirements have brought me out to Langol. I understand that they are siege monsters of the School of Conjuration.
How quaint to bring a siege monster to peace talks.
Quite so.
As I look at the floating eyeball. Yeah. Let's get a look at this town. I'll walk towards the gates.
Yeah. So I think at this point, with you patrolling the periphery of your tents, and you kind of actually actively making a start towards the front gates of Greyhaze, you see imposing red granite walls speckled with veins of black all throughout, and there is a short, wide archway with a portcullis that is drawn. And actually, as the two of you begin approaching, you hear as the portcullis is slowly and with great effort
Open sesame.
raised before you. And immediately stepping through, you see two figures. Actually, you probably in this moment see... How many figures are we having move out? I think you see 1, 2, 3... you would see 7 figures immediately step out through the front entrance. The first 4 to step out, you see appear to be a mix of humans and Goliaths. Some of them tall, bald, grey skin with black geometric tattoos across their faces and heads. Others just these like pale skinned humans with like hair that is streaked, wet, pitted faces with spots and acne scars from years of enduring rain. That's a loud one. That's a loud train.
It's the sound the Adrenax make.
And I think you see that these 4 figures who step before you, kind of nondescript, are each of them wearing what kind of, it doesn't actually specify. Are wearing like chain shirts and leather accoutrements here and there to kind of set themselves out, like maybe leather van braces and like a leather tunic over the top of a chainmail shirt. But you notice that they are adorned across their chest and on their like shields, even smeared on their helmets, messy streaks of paint of overlapping stripes of red and blue. Can I have you guys both give me a history check as you see these figures approach?
No, we're all so hot now. This will never last with my charisma checks. I got a 24.
24? Wow.
16.
16. It isn't hard to recognize these figures. They've got shields, spears to hand, painted red and blue stripes across their shields and across their hauberks and even in places on their helmets. You recognize, both of you will clock them as being Balgardian revolutionary officers. And I think you would, that would be like on a 5 check, you'd both clock this. On it getting above a 10, you know that the red and blue that adorns their armor stands for, this was the colours and marks of the Balgardian Revolution. The idea being that the red was the blood of the people, the common people, wrought by the aristocracy, and that blue was the elven blood of the aristocracy that was shed as they sought to, as the people sought to rise from their chains. So it's sort of, this blue and red coloration represents an importance of the blood cost of gallows war that is prevalent throughout the officers of the Balgardian Revolution. For getting over a 15, both of you, what I'll say is the other thing that you clock is that in towns like Greyhaze that have remained neutral, that aren't aligned with the Rostrum Arcadex or with the Clarity or any other factions like the Moronites or this or that, it is more common to have former revolutionaries falling into the position of guards. Basically, having this skill set of fighting in city streets and towns, then being taken and reapplied to the idea of upholding law and order in a otherwise relatively lawless time. Because of this, you can probably observe the idea that Greyhaze observes what is known as gallows law or common Balgardian law, which basically is the law you would expect to find in most medieval towns, where stealing is a crime, murder is a crime, but stuff like heresy wouldn't be a crime here, because they are going to be a multi-faith community inherently. Similarly, it's not a crime to practice wizardcraft in towns like Greyhaze, because the Balgardian revolutionary officers don't give a fuck about what you're doing with magic as long as you're not hurting people with it. They're not like the Rostrum Arcadex, who would see an unauthorized person wielding magic and kill them on the spot. In the same way that if they were worshipping heathen gods, the Clarity would kill someone like that on the spot.
Some of us would.
So it's real neutral territory, and you see this mix of human and Goliaths step forward, take up defensive positions, 2 on either side of the town gates, as then 3 figures walk forward. And you see, leading these 3 figures, a human man. He has got dark brown hair, slicked back, as most people's will be in this town, given the quantity of rain. Slicked back, it looks like hair that would be long and hang in front of his face, but because of the water, is flowed back, and it's probably about just shy of being shoulder length, definitely below the chin. You see grey streaks in his hair, a bit of a I think probably he's got a mustache and a little goatee. Has a thick, practical fur-lined leather coat, and you see has a cane and walks with literally the assistance of a cane as he kind of steps forward. Looks like, honestly, in his late 30s, if anything, a relatively young man, but appears to lead these 3. To his left, you see a much older human man, shaved down on either side, grey hair, and then a square of grey hair on top of his head, very neatly trimmed like a lawn, completely unshaven face covered in scars from both acne scars and pits in his face, as well as actual sword blows, heavy brow, deep sunken green eyes, long face, very rectangular long face with a long mouth that just kind of is in a constant scowl and frown, deep lines coming down from his nose, almost like a statuesque kind of face. He walks, has a breastplate on, a gambeson underneath, and you can see again smeared across his shield, across his breastplate. Although actually less than being smeared, he probably has a crest on his breastplate of a tiny shield there, with red and blue stripes on it. Definitely some member of the Balgardian revolutionary officers here in town, but walks alongside this young man, much older. Doesn't walk with a limp though, has a strong step, and he's the kind of tough that trees are when they're old. And then on the flanking the young man's left side, you see a water genasi woman. You see she is hunched over in the kind of way that, whereas old age has turned this, captain of the guard into a towering, sturdy tree of a man, old age has shrunken her into a toad, where she is shorter even than Crusader Mend. A short woman, probably on a good day when her back's feeling good enough to fully straighten her shoulders, is pushing 5 foot, but most of the time is crouching and slouching at 4'8". Has slate, matte blue skin, long green hair that like kind of like bobbles, and you can see there's like, it looks like mats in her hair until you realize that they are actually some kind of like seaweed-esque little knots and binds. She looks constantly wet and very ill at ease being damp, has a long gnarly stick that like is very like straight and firm down to the bottom, but then like coils around into almost like a spring at the top. She was a threadbare dress, and over the top of it a thick, cozy red cloak, which has a hood, but the hood is down. An incredibly friendly woman whose, I think, the most pronounced parts of her are her cheeks and her mouth, which feel too big for the rest of her head. As she just blinks at you all as she shuffles forward. And I think you see the young man kind of step forward and like turns around and starts muttering to the two of them for a moment, and they both nod. And I think who's gonna go where? I think that the elderly woman makes in your direction and starts hobbling over to the Clarity side, and the older man heads in your direction towards the rostral arcadex.
We're not the fascists. We're
Neither are we.
we're the indoctrinating ones.
Wonderful. We'll start then with, because I think we just wrapped up the scene with you, with Quinn and Nephilim. This elderly Genasi lady walks up to you. Hello dear, are you with the Clarity?
Greetings. I am Saint Nephilim, Saint of the Wardens.
Oh my goodness, a Saint of the Clarity come to our little town?
Yes, of course. We are very eager to get these peace talks concluded.
My word, well, that is remarkably good news to hear that the Clarity is taking this so very seriously.
It is of the utmost importance to our order.
Well, I suppose I've come to inform you that the town of Greyhaze is now opening its doors to the members of the Clarity. I would ask that any of your footmen, your paladins and such, remain beyond the city borders, and that you only allow those individuals into town who will be speaking on behalf of your illustrious organization.
Very well, I will relay that to our people.
Who might we be anticipating at Gallows Rest this evening?
It would be myself, Saint Nephilim, my brother Saint Ophanim, and potentially one or two other lower-ranking officials.
One or two other. Wonderful. Well, what I would ask, if you... oh my goodness, I haven't introduced myself. I must say, it's a very exciting day here at Greyhaze. My name is Neria Redwater.
Neria?
Neria, yes.
Redwater. It is a pleasure to meet you.
A pleasure to meet you as well. If you would not mind assembling those members of the Clarity retinue who intend to speak on your organization's behalf here at the front gates. I understand that Mayor Cain has some things that he would like to relay to you before you are permitted to enter, and then we will escort you inside the town.
Very well. May retrieve Saint Ophanim.
You see Crusader May nodded at once and clomps off through the... You can see already, like, up to the knees, like, she is caked in wet mud as she just marches back into the camp. You see Nero sort of...
Neff's ears keep twitching because she's trying to shake the rain off.
Yes, oh my god, yeah, like horse ears just going like, oh. Yeah. And you see Nero just watches your Crusader go, oh my, very well organised.
Our Crusaders are our right hands.
Crusaders. Marvellous.
I don't laugh. We didn't choose the name.
No, I don't imagine you did. I trust there will be no crusading going on in Greyhaze today.
You have my word.
Wonderful. The word of a saint. Remarkable. And she just stands there waiting for Crusader Maid to come back. Are there any questions that you have for the old lady, or we'll pivot off?
What might your station be within this
Of course,
organization?
I am the elder of Greyhaze.
That is good to know.
Yes. I do not hold any formal political position here, but I observe the rights of Greyhaze's culture, and I advise Mayor Kane on how best we might interact with the world around us and keep the people's faith alive.
Well, I hope to talk with you at great length on that subject after the talks are finished.
I'm certain we will have much to discuss. This is at the beginning, I believe, of a new age for Balgard.
I hope so.
As do I.
Wonderful. You can see Crusader May making her way to the tent, and there's a bit of an awkward thing where it's like this elderly woman is just blinking and staring at you, waiting for more stuff to happen. And I think with that we'll pivot over to the other scene as this towering human man walks up to you and just looks down. I think probably looking up to you because you are quite tall. Like he's probably pushing like 5'8" as he kind of walks over to you. Talking. As he comes up to you and just goes,
I understand that you are here with...
no one was ready for this.
A wave of psychic damage
a
hit
wave
the
of
table.
psychic damage.
Already.
No. But I understand that you are here on behalf of the Rostrum Arcadics.
Indeed. Thank you for welcoming us to your town.
Quite so.
Greyhaze. My name is Glaive. I am Tamori of the Court of Conjuration.
Tamori, I see. What is a Tamori?
We are creations of the wizards. We are beings of pure magic.
I see, yes. Being of pure magic, a construct of some sort, very well. And you are the representative of whom, may I ask?
The wizard Ethrad of Conjuration.
And he is not in attendance today.
He is not.
I see. Well, we are introducing the members of the Rostrum Arcadics and the Clarity into the town today. We would ask that you keep all of your forces beyond the city walls and only permit those who intend to talk at tonight's peace talks within. Will you be attending these peace talks, or are you some sort of and he looks at your sword and looks back, and breastplate, and looks back, you go, guardian?
Both of those are true statements.
You are a guardian and you will be talking at the peace talks this evening.
Indeed.
Very well. Who else is in attendance here on behalf of the Arcadics? I trust that we have representatives from each of the schools here.
I believe there are 3 schools that will be in attendance.
3.
Yes.
And only 3.
That is my understanding.
Forgive me. Which 3 schools are here in attendance today?
We are accompanied by the Archmage Firebeard of the School of Evocation and the Archmage Adoration of the School of Enchantment.
But none of the wizards.
No.
Just Archmages and Tamori.
Yes, that is correct.
I see.
I believe they would probably like to make introductions on their own for themselves. But I do not know where they are at present.
Well, you had better go and find them and bring them here so that they may make their introductions now. I understand that Mayor Kane is interested in outlining the rules for the preceding peace talks and would like to introduce your retinues to the town before allowing you to get yourselves properly settled.
Of course, and I think Glaive turns to Spindle, like, perhaps you should go and alert the 2 Archmages of...
Is this another Archmage in your accompaniment, or perhaps it is the Wizard of Hooves?
This is Mage Spindle,
Mage.
also of the Court of Conjuration.
So the Court of Conjuration has sent us a construct and a mage.
It's Mori, yes, and the mage.
And anything else?
No.
No. Marvellous.
None
And
who will
that
be.
large creature that swept into the outskirts of the slumber walk earlier, that is gone now?
Yes.
It will be returning?
Perhaps upon the conclusion of the talks, but not
Perhaps, but you are not certain.
during. It will require further communication with my wizard.
You have the means to communicate with your wizard.
It will, if necessary, I will be able to commune with him.
Wonderful, then why are you not bringing him to commune with the Mayor Kane?
He has other business that he has sought to attend to.
More important than the conclusion of the Strife of Spires, I presume.
That is not for me to decide.
No, I rather guess it had not been for yours to speak upon. Very well. This mage Spindle, you are dismissed. And you see Spindle and he goes, am I dismissed?
I told you.
Oh, right, sorry, okay. And he immediately he runs off and slips on someone and just, carries on, scrambling away. And you just watch as this elderly man just watches him leave and just... And he's, his breath, perspirates in the air in front of him. Just a little gout of steam. Just like...
Yeah, I think Glaive just sort of stands there. I think he's just staring at this man.
He stares back at you. Wonderful. The two of you stare at each other and do you have any questions that you're asking this guy or not?
After a few minutes.
A few minutes? Minutes in silence, just dead-eyeing this dude.
Two pairs. We're both staring at NPCs. We both look over at each other. We both look back at the NPCs.
I think after a minute of just silence, Glaive looks at him and is like, "What was your name?"
I am the captain of the Belgardian Revolutionary Officers here in town. My name is Captain Neas Catawal.
It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance,
Yes.
Captain.
Thank you.
Back to silence.
Wonderful. Okay. Yeah, we can't carry on with that conversation in an audio-only platform because it is just two... Yeah, I think a moment or two
These
passes...
are two soldiers.
These are two soldiers. They're not talking people.
Yeah.
A moment or two passes, and eventually, Elder Neria and Captain Catawal assemble all of you in front of the mayor. The people that we have in attendance are the Guardian Angel Khmar Kaj
Jesus Christ.
is accompanying you. Saint Ophanim of Renewal, Crusader Mend, and Crusader May are all there for the clarity.
I'm really glad.
I might join your team. They
Yeah.
seem nicer.
We sent our actual highest people.
Yeah, genuinely.
My
And then...
wizards don't care.
Yeah.
And then on your side, it is the Mage Spindle. Focus Astrid swings by and is shadowing him. And then as well as that, it is Archmage Firebeard and the Archmage Adoration. The rest of everyone else attends to their grounds and their works.
Yeah, I didn't mention Astrid because I assumed she wouldn't be talking. So Glaive was like, "Oh, you want to hear who's talking? I'm not going to mention Astrid because she probably won't. But I am thinking about her."
She's just serving in the background.
She really
Serving
is.
in the background. I mean, she's literally serving. She is a servant.
Death drops in the mud.
Death drops in the mud. If we were doing episode titles, I would be I would insist upon
Death
it.
Drops in the Mud is a great punk drag name.
Yeah.
Punk drag band name.
I love it.
We're going to have to do something with that at a later date.
Yeah.
Well, the point is, your two retinues are assembled together. Immediately, Captain Catawal and Elder Redwater flank either side of Mayor Kane, who is, again, the two people advising him are far older than Mayor Kane. He stands there, leaning on one leg, more pronounced than the other, shoulders hunched about his ears as the rain patters down across his head. As he looks at you, at everyone assembled here, he goes, right, I understand that the lot of you are here today to begin the admirable task of organising a long-standing armistice between the Rostrum Arcadex and the Clarity, to bring the Strife of Spires to a conclusion. I'm very happy that Greyhaze will play host to your meeting. On each night this week, I hope to entertain you in Gallows Rest, the fort on the northern side of town, in Riverside, on other side of river. You unfortunately will have to make your own arrangements in town in terms of finding where you would like to stay for the evening, as we do not have rooms to spare in Gallows Rest. And one quick insistence from myself. Whilst I believe it to be deeply admirable that you've all come here today to organise the end of this strife between your two factions, this town's history with either of your factions is bloody and well versed and known to every person who lives here. Wizards, clerics alike have wrought a bloody harvest in these streets in the past. The people here are brave and will offer you every ounce of hospitality that you incur from them. But whilst you are in my walls, you will be subjected to common Balgardian law. That means no fighting, no declarations of heresy, and no wizardcraft on the people in this town, you hear? You are here as representatives of your factions. I expect you to behave in a diplomatic manner whilst in Greyhaze. Should you commit any crimes of any measure, you will be subject to our laws, and I don't give a damn if you send saints or gods or wizards after me to come and stop me from executing you. If you kill someone in this town, your head will be on the block, and that's that. Understood?
Understood.
Marvellous stuff. That again being said, Greyhaze is a welcoming place. We'd love to host you here and understand that the journey to peace is a long and difficult one. We're not expecting you to get along. But like I said, subjected to our laws, subjected to our rules. If you defy them, I'll bring down the book on your heads. Are there any questions that you have before you enter Greyhaze? Knowing that you can leave, but in order to re-enter the town, you'll have to get permissions from either myself or Captain Catterwall here to re-enter. I expect you to stay within these walls for the duration of your visit. Unless duty calls.
We thank you for your hospitality, and we agree.
Can I ask who I'm speaking to here?
I'm Saint Nephilim, Saint of the Wardens, here with my brother, Saint Ophanim, Saint of Renewal.
He kind of arches his eyebrows at that and blinks and goes, 2 saints, and looks down to Eldenaria, who just like nods like with like a oh okay, kind of like look towards him and goes, perhaps it's worth noting then, we understand that the Clarity's come here to speak on matters, but we have a faith in town already. We're not looking to have it spread, so if you can keep your religion to yourself, we value your presence here, but don't go disturbing the Moronites or our shrines, understand?
Understood.
But your attendance is much valued, Nephilim.
Neph will suffice.
Neph. Right you are. That's a courtesy, thank you, Neph. And then looks over to your guy's side and you see Neves kind of comes over and just whispers in his ear and he goes, "What?" Hang on, just quickly, is there a wizard amongst your ranks?
I think Glaive waits like 2 seconds to let anyone else talk, and if nobody does, I think she just shakes her head and is like, there is not.
May I ask why? That the Clarity is sending 2 of its saints to begin these talks, and the Rostrum Arcadex can't spare a single wizard?
We are here on behalf of our wizards, but they, unfortunately, they send their regards, but they could not be here in person.
Could not be. What, is there something more pressing than the end of the Strife of Spires for them?
That is not for us to decide on their behalfs. Their decisions are their own, but they have sent us in their stead to carry out these negotiations.
Insight check.
Yeah, I think he turns back to the captain and goes, what? And you see the captain goes, you can see him going,
I don't believe they're putting much value in the beginning of the talks. The Tomori said that they'd make themselves known on an individual basis.
individual basis. That's not how peace works. He just kind of looks back at you. I think, yeah, it's gonna give an insight check in this moment for sure. I think he's gonna use the noble stat block.
I will use my hobgoblin ability to give him the help action.
Ooh.
Because I also want to know why they did not send a single wizard.
I love it because Glaive is just like, Glaive being so
You're
diplomatic.
clearly the
but
messenger.
Glaive's answer is, I don't know.
Because all of them have sniper rivals pointed at each other, and none of them can stand in an open field for more than 30 seconds.
Literally.
Glaive's only speaking from her dad's point of view.
Yeah.
Wonderful. He's got advantage. He's got advantage on this already. So
Yeah, I'll help Ophanim do it then.
wonderful. Let's see. That is 11 plus insight for a 15. I am going to ask for a deception check from you because you are trying to hide some intention, which is, I think you know that he. Well, you already told you. Edhard is not interested in these talks and doesn't see the value of them because another war is going to start in a week.
Because I think as well, Glaive's point of view as well is like, Glaive, I think, understands that he doesn't care, but also in her head, like Ed trusts her so much to send her.
Yeah.
So it's not natural for the deception, but it is a 1.
Ooh.
Oh.
It's not a natural 1, but it is a 1.
Yeah. I think you see Mayor Kane squints at you with great scrutiny, with Captain Naeus's whispers in his ear, and just nods and goes, let's get this over with, shall we? And turns around and just goes, come on, come inside if this is all there's gonna be. And limps in, followed by Eldinaria and Captain Catawall. Those 7 make their way inside, and the town gates remain open for you to follow.
I think Glaive, as everyone kind of, I assume, starts to make their way inside, I think Glaive turns to Spindle, and not being able to, I don't think Glaive knows to whisper or to keep conversations private.
Oh dear.
And I think she turns to Spindle and is like, do you think those saints are really related?
Yeah, loud enough that you guys can hear it. And he hears someone and goes, I'm not really sure how it works. I think it's all a bit weird.
Like related by marriage, hon.
Oh. Okay. So your sibling married his sibling. That is how it works, correct? In-laws?
The little one is accurate. It's kind of complicated.
I apologize. I have not had much dealing with your order.
We're both betrothed to our Lord. It's great clarity in a divine sense, making us sibling spouses.
And I think you hear Spindle leans over and goes, I told you it was really weird.
That is fascinating that your betrothals would result in a familial response between you, but you are not yourselves married?
Not to each other.
Interesting.
I think at this point, Ophanim and like his crusader and the two archmages, both glowering, have started making their way into town. But we watch as the retinues of the Rostrum Arcadex and the Clarity converge here in this moment, walking side by side through the town gates of Greyhaze. Entering in, there is a brief moment of respite as you pass under that stone archway before again you are lashed down with rain and the portcullis slams shut behind you. Welcome to the town of Greyhaze.
Jail, Devils Don't Exist is a podcast licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, Share-alike 4.0 international license. You've been listening to Molly Little as Glaive, Quinn Riley Rowe as Saint Nephilim, and Sam Pay as all the devils that don't exist. Please like, share, and subscribe. For more content and a peek behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, and BlueSky under @jailpod and @jailpod.bluesky.social. That is @jailpod, spelled GAOLPOD. Thank you for listening.